Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sync Up Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things OneDrive. OneDrive is the home for all of the files you care about most, and we are here to take you behind the scenes to get the insights and the knowledge to make your experience and your users' experiences better. My name is Stephen Rice, and I'm a Principal Product Manager on the OneDrive team, and I'm joined by my fellow OneDrive aficionado, Arvind Mishra.
Hi, everybody. I'm Arvind, and I'm also a Principal Product Manager on the OneDrive team. Before we jump in, I just want to give a quick shout out to get everyone to subscribe to our newsletter. It's got the latest tips and tricks and things that are going to be coming out. It's got the latest news, I guess, because it is a newsletter. You can sign up at aka.ms/OneDrive/join. Now, today we've got a great discussion and a great set of guests as well. And we are going to be talking about creation and some of the new creation inside of OneDrive and in the M365 ecosystem, as well as a new feature that's related to that scenario that's really exciting. We are joined today by Liz Scoble and Libby McCormick. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, excited to be here.
For those of you that don't know, Liz actually worked on the OneDrive home experience over the last year, and we launched that as part of the OneDrive Gen 3 launch that we announced back in October, and that's a very exciting feature. But Liz, you mind starting us off and telling us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name is Liz Scoble. I'm a product manager on the OneDrive team. I'm based out of sunny Seattle, Washington. And yeah, as Arvind mentioned, I've worked on the OneDrive home experience, trying to help connect users to their files quickly and easily. And now I'm working on this brand new creation experience I'm excited to share more about.
Super cool. Welcome, welcome. And Libby, tell our audience a little bit about you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Libby McCormick, and I'm a product manager here at Microsoft based out of the St. Louis area. And I work on the Create team in the Office Products Group organization, where we own visual creation experiences across M365. So surfaces like create.microsoft.com and Microsoft Designer. I specifically am the product manager for the visual creation hubs, where these experiences are surfaced across M365.
Very excited to go deeper into all of those pieces and how we're bringing Create into the OneDrive experience. But before we can do that, we like to start with a little bit of fun, which is kind of our little icebreaker question for our guests. Sometimes these are serious, sometimes they are fun. So let's start there. So my question for all of you, and Arvind, I'm going to start with you. What do you think is the most underrated snack?
I would say peanut butter is an amazing snack. And let me clarify. There is a brand of peanut butter made by a company called Nerdy Nuts. It's gourmet peanut butter. They do these drops on Sundays, and they have crazy flavored peanut butter. And it's so good that you literally just eat this. This is not peanut butter you put on bread. This is peanut butter that you just take a spoonful of and you eat one spoonful because it's that rich and that delicious.
I want to create a mental image for you, Arvind, because I think you'll appreciate it. When I was in middle school, I would do after school sports, we did softball or volleyball or soccer or whatever. And I'd always get hungry. And so I kept a jar of peanut butter and plastic spoons in my backpack and just finish school, get a couple scoops of peanut butter to recharge, and then out onto the field.
It's a great snack. You should try this brand of peanut butter. It's pretty amazing. Liz, what about you? What's your most underrated snack?
Yeah, I am a salty snack girl. And so I feel like my go-to snack these days are these Trader Joe's mochi rice nuggets. They're just little crunchy salt bombs, and they are delicious. And I can easily put down an entire pack if I am not paying attention. That's my go-to snack.
Libby, bring us home. You next.
Sure. In my opinion, definitely leftover toddler food. So I have little kids. So if my daughter wants a heart-shaped sandwich, no problem. Those scraps just became my snack. Or the remnants of a banana that my son just ate like corn on the cob. Ooh, delicacy. So yeah, definitely leftover toddler food. I'm not sure I'd recommend it, but it's pretty good.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up. I think you just won, Libby. I don't know what could be more underrated than that. I'm going to go with something, it's not overrated, but properly rated. There was this one time at Costco, they had a s'mores Chex Mix kind of thing. It was just pieces of graham cracker, marshmallow, and chocolates. And I got it once, and then the bag disappeared by the end of the day. And I was like, this can never happen again. It's not it's, a low calorie treat. I don't know what it was on the back, but it was just this once you start, you can't stop. I think that's a different cereal, but
it's like a seasonal snack, maybe at Costco, right? Or do they have it all the time?
It might have been a year-round thing. I honestly stopped looking for it because if I looked for it, it was too tempting.
They still carry it. I still have to push the cart by every single time because that same thing happened to me. Bought it once, disappeared, can never buy it again.
So good.
Well, I actually have a secret question for our guests. I always do. You know, these days we are talking a lot about AI and Copilot here at Microsoft. I would love to know from both of our guests, what is like the coolest thing you've done with, you know, Copilot? And this could be like Copilot inside of the Office apps, or it could be Copilot like, you know, the mobile app, giving them a shout out as well. What's the coolest thing that you've done that you'd want to share with our audience?
I don't know if this will win points for cool, but I will say that one of my weekly use cases for Copilot is I play bar trivia once a week, and every week they have a different player's choice round and they announce what it is. And before trivia every week, I always use Copilot to prep and to generate quiz questions so that I can see, like I can try out and kind of study a little bit, which is very nerdy and probably not very cool, but I feel like it's definitely helping. I don't know if the people who are writing the trivia are also using Copilot. A good way to get prepped.
That is actually one of the most novel uses of Copilot that I've heard from anyone. I mean, you could use it to prep for not only your local trivia at your local bar, but you could use it to prep for like Jeopardy if you were going to go compete on that. That's pretty awesome, Liz. Good example.
Last week, the round was Star Wars episodes 4 through 6. And I really should have had Steven in my pocket for that one. Our team did miserably, but Steven, you definitely would have known everything.
I don't know. Arvin's up there too. I feel like we could crush that one.
I don't know, man. See, you're clearly the master to me being the Padawan here.
Anyway, Libby, what about yourself? Favorite Copilot or novel Copilot usage?
My sister's a pastry chef, and so I kind of like pin Copilot against my sister and see like who can create the better dessert. And she says Copilot's pretty good. So I don't know. I think that's very cool to me.
Let's see, this might be a more serious example. So my father, he passed away last year, and he was a doctor, a very, accomplished doctor. He's like a neurologist, smarter than me because I'm not operating on anyone's brains, thankfully. And he had done a ton of research, and he would always try to describe what he did. And I was just like, I'm not scientific minded, so I couldn't really understand what he did or explain to other people other than he worked on people's brains. And I was able to actually look him up, and it gave me a full rundown of his history and his papers. And I could ask it detailed questions about, the type of neurology that he studied and how it would benefit the world and all of that. On a personal level, it was amazing, but it was just like pretty moving. So now I can explain to everyone that knew my dad or like asked about him and what he actually did. So, Steven, what about you?
So my niece, who is like 7 or so, is starting to learn how to type. And so a couple months ago, we were trying to teach her how to type over like Discord or, just chatting back and forth. And I had the idea of like, I'm going to play the game where I tell Copilot to be the dungeon master and create a like children's, adventure. And then I will ask her what Copilot tells me, and I'll type what she sent me into Copilot. And it like took her down a little like rabbit adventure hole kind of thing. It worked okay. Like I think it, some prompt engineering would have resulted in something new. But there's a lot of her refusing to engage. Like, do you want to talk to the magical rabbit? No. Okay. Do you want to talk to the magical tree? No. But it was pretty fun. It was interesting. And it was nice to like see what Copilot created as, it went through it all.
Love that. Lots of really cool examples. Thank you both, Liz and Libby and Steven for sharing. Right now, before we jump into the main part of today's broadcast, we want to take a few moments to acknowledge this episode's sponsor, Microsoft Designer. Steven, what is Microsoft Designer?
Well, Arvind, according to Copilot, Microsoft Designer is a web app that helps you create professional quality graphics and visuals for various needs, such as social media posts, invitation, digital postcards, logos, and more. You can use it to unleash your creativity and make stunning designs in a flash, AI-powered design suggestions, and a one-of-a-kind AI-powered generated images.
You know, Stephen, my creativity of late has been leashed. And frankly, I was looking for something to unleash it. Can Designer help someone like myself?
No, Arvind, I'm sorry. You are beyond help. But for everyone else, designer.microsoft.com is the place to go. All you have to do is sign in with your Microsoft account. And from there, you can use the existing prompt to generate templates, to springboard your creativity, or you can just type your own prompt and let the magic happen.
I can't wait to try it out. And we also want to say that there's a special that the Designer team is running for our listening and non-listening audience.
I think that's everyone, right, Arvind?
Right. It's free right now to do most things in the app. So give it a try and see how Microsoft Designer can unleash your inner artist.
Thank you again to Microsoft Designer for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Let's move to our first topic, which is talking about Create New in Microsoft 365. So, Libby, you kind of mentioned this at the very top of the podcast that you work on this create.microsoft.com product. For those of us in our audience, like Arvind and myself, who may not know what this is, what is create.microsoft.com? Why would I go there? What do I do? What is it?
Microsoft Create was founded a few years ago to be the hub for a new set of creator products within Microsoft, like Designer and Clipchamp. Today, Microsoft Create is like the intent-based creation destination for all of M365, bringing visual starting points to all types of customers for all types of intents. So people come to create.microsoft.com and search for specific intents like find a job and discover the breadth of templates or visual starting points available.
Is it fair, like when I think about, intents or things like that, I'm kind of reminded of some of the old school templates in like Microsoft Word, where it's like, I need to type a resume. I don't have a resume template. I don't know how to do this that makes me look professional and good. So I go into templates and I type up resume. How does that fit into kind of the Create story? Is this like the evolution of kind of original templates, maybe?
Yes. So templates at office.com, this is kind of like the next version of templates at office.com, I think is what you're referring to. So yeah, kind of like the more modern intent-based creation hub for all of M365.
So cool, Libby. Like you work on Create, which is, something that we started as of a couple of years ago. Tell our audience, who maybe aren't as familiar with the Create world, like what's the vision for Create at Microsoft? Like what kinds of services are we building? What do we intend for customers to be able to do with the things that we're building?
So our vision for Create is really to meet customers where they're expressing their intent, and simplifying the capabilities of M365 to help customers accomplish their task. And really to like easily create visually stunning digital content, whether that be through a visual starting point like a template or creating your own, creation with AI. With Create and M365, we really want to bring that level of like starting with your intent that we have on create.microsoft.com into creation surfaces across the Microsoft ecosystem.
You use the buzzword AI, so I have to kind of ask, obviously everything with AI is early in a lot of places. How is the Create team thinking about AI inside of the Create experience? And what can you share, if any, as we start to think about that in the future?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing really to share outwardly yet, but I can say I'm really excited for the vision of how we're going to evolve creation services on Create and in M365 to empower customers with AI creation capabilities. And you can start to see some of those creation experiences come to life first on Microsoft Create and especially on Microsoft Designer.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, one of the things that I think sort of took like the world by, or the viral world by storm was that on Designer, I feel like a month ago, everybody was out there using Designer to create like their own avatars, like, or their cartoon versions of themselves. That was like such a cool promotion. How did you guys even come up with that?
So we've got some really creative PMs in this space that kind of like work through these prompt templates, and you can create your own prompt templates and share it with your families or your friends. Mm-hmm. Just this morning, in honor of the big event this weekend, the Puppy Bowl, I made the best picture of a dog wearing a cheese head in a green and yellow jersey and sent that prompt template out to my entire organization in a monthly newsletter. It was great.
well-used resources in my mind. Like if you're not using AI to generate puppy pictures, I mean, what is the point? But Libby, how is the Create team thinking about partnering with other teams across Microsoft? You've got this amazing portal. How do you work with other teams? What is that going to start to look like?
Internally, we call this workstream like Create Everywhere, which I think is a really good hand wavy summary for kind of the project all up and the aspiration. And I guess collaborating with the OneDrive team really felt like a natural integration, because there's a creation experience already in OneDrive. It's where your content is stored. So we're doing similar things, working with teams across the Microsoft ecosystem and embedding this like cohesive creation experience where customers are expressing those creation intents and being really specific to those surfaces.
That I think brings us to you, Liz. So we had our big OD3 refresh that we talked about a few times on the podcast. We talked a little bit last year about the new button. So now I understand that the new button is going to become even newer. So we'll have the newer new button.
The newest new button, exactly.
New button? Okay.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about our goals of this project. So like you mentioned, and like Libby mentioned, the goal of this new experience is to make it easier for users to get started creating content in OneDrive. And once this experience rolls out, you won't see anything just when you come to OneDrive. Everything looks as it is. But when you click that Add New button, the experience will be different. And you'll see a refreshed new experience in OneDrive for Business on the web. And so, of course, we've kept all of the same capabilities that were there before. You can always start from scratch and create a blank document. You can upload, you can create new folders, but we've also incorporated templates, both these templates from the Microsoft created catalog, as well as tenant templates. And we also have given you the opportunity to choose where you create, which I think is kind of a nice little underrated feature we're adding as well here.
Liz, what do you mean like you can choose where you create? Can you explain that to the audience?
Sure. So we've heard feedback from customers that they want to be able to organize their files on the spot at the moment of creation instead of creating it, having it put in a default location, and then going and organizing it later. And so with this new experience, we are allowing you to choose where this file gets created through a simple dropdown. So the default will continue to be the root of your OneDrive and My Files, but now you can change the location if you want to create something in a specific folder, maybe something you're immediately going to go share with someone, or in a document library that's part of quick access. So, and again, as always, if you invoke this add new creation experience from within a subfolder, it'll default to that folder. So kind of keeping the behavior the same, but putting that opportunity in your hands to change.
That's super cool. Like, so if I were to paraphrase this, then it's essentially like I can choose where I'm going to create the file, or where I'd ultimately save it before I create it effectively. So like I'm reversing the order of operations that I've maybe historically have done. That's pretty cool. Like that's how I typically think about, my work. And it's been a frustrating thing to not to be able to work that way. I'm just curious, we spoke about research. Can you talk about some of the research that we used to inform the design and the creation of this powerful feature?
Sure. So there have been a couple different pieces. We've done some foundational research studies on jobs to be done in OneDrive and more core user research. And one of the insights that came out of the jobs to be done is that people hire OneDrive they want a product that will help them stay organized and organize their content. And so that's a specific insight that led us to building this feature where you can choose where you create. But some of the other research that we've done, we've worked hand in hand with Libby's team and their research organization to make sure that the experience we're building is grounded in user needs. And some of the needs that have come out are getting started quickly, not duplicating work, creating beautiful content that they can share with others.
Gotcha. Like the thing about the feature, and our audience can't necessarily see it, but like one of the most noticeable thing that people will see within this feature when they open up the Create experience is they're going to see a ton of essentially templates that look beautiful, that are, for their organization or just, for a particular job to be done. Can you talk about that experience that customers will see?
Sure. So as you mentioned, we've integrated a vast catalog of templates that have been designed and curated by Microsoft. And so we've tailored this set of templates to show templates that are especially relevant for commercial scenarios. So we've looked at usage data of the existing templates to make sure that we're highlighting the templates that get the most usage, that are the most popular. And we've also combined it with some of this research that I mentioned to share the templates with top creation intents. And so we have made it easy to sort through templates and find what you're looking for with a couple different ways. You can filter the list of templates to see templates that are organized by category, for example, presentations or budgets. And you can also search through the template catalog if you have something specific that you're looking for. One
of the things you alluded to it very briefly, and I want to go deeper on, is you mentioned there can be, company templates there. This is one of those ones like, oh, Microsoft can have Microsoft templates. And then we have to clarify, no, not the Microsoft created templates, but the Microsoft owned template. I don't know how to describe it. But your organization can have templates that become available to you. That seems really cool. Can you tell me more about that?
I'll kind of start by saying, when we've been sharing some of these plans, we talked about this new Create experience on our October 3rd event. And one of the resounding pieces of feedback that we've been hearing from customers is that they want to be able to see their tenant templates within this experience. And so we've taken that feedback and we have brought your tenant templates front and center here. And so now we'll surface all of the templates that are stored in your organizational asset library. So tenant specific templates, whether you have brand templates or anything else that...
Arvin, we were talking about this earlier. There was a particular template type I think you were really excited about. Something like
yes,
TPS report, something like that, right?
Yes, TPS reports. Like if your organization produces a lot of TPS reports, could they put that as one of the templates for everyone to make everyone's lives that much easier?
Certainly.
I mean, I think Arvin's sold. No, I'm not. I'm going to reveal something I probably shouldn't. I used to be a big proponent. I would tell people my PowerPoints are always templateless because I believe in function over form. If it has the right information, but that was really just because I was lazy to find good PowerPoint templates. And now I will have no excuse because they're just right there.
Yeah, there's really no excuse. And then with a beautiful template, I think people probably pay a little more attention to what you have to say. So it's the
probably
key.
Fair.
That's pretty cool. And just to remind the audience, what we're talking about is, a view of all of your company's templates. And it's not only just the art style, but it's also the document types themselves, right? So you could have a template for PowerPoints, a template for your TPS reports. So they're all sort of mixed in a view that could be recommended, or they could be specific under your company. And I also believe there's a filtering and search capability too, right, Liz?
Yeah, you got it. So right now the templates are categorized by intent. And so you'll see all the presentation templates that are grouped together, budgets, timelines, all grouped together. But the search experience will search through our entire template catalog and help you find what you're looking for. And there's another piece too, which is when you can preview all the templates just by hovering over them in the experience, and you can create just with one click if you found what you're looking for. But if you want to get a more detailed view, you can click in and see kind of a full page preview of the template. You can click through if there's multiple pages, slides in a PowerPoint, for example, you can click through and preview them, and we'll also show more templates like this. So you can browse similar templates too. So many different opportunities to find exactly what you're looking for.
I mean, that's so cool. I know when I create documents or presentations, it's often, just getting started is kind of the difficult thing. And so having a feature here or create experience where I can effectively just say, oh, I'm doing this type of presentation, go pull that type of template, and it's got all the branding and everything. And all I basically have to sort of populate the slides with is the actual data and the story that I want to present. it feels like I can, get started that much faster. But like, I guess another thing that's coming down the pike, we sort of talked about this earlier, was just around AI. And I know, we can only probably talk about certain things, but how are we thinking about AI and Create down the road?
So I have nothing specific about our plans that I can share right now, but I think the team is really excited, like Libby said, about the opportunity to bring more AI into this Create experience, and starting from things like, I have a type of document that I make all the time, and can I take one document and use this as a template for something in the future? I'm sharing my hopes and dreams wish list, not necessarily things that are coming down
hopes and dreams are good.
Into the product soon, but this is what I think would be really lovely. Can I take content that exists in one type, like a Word document, and create a partner PowerPoint that I can, really easily present? My product spec goes from a Word document into a PowerPoint that I can share with folks. Can I use some of the conversation that I've had with Copilot and turn that into a document to jumpstart my creation? So I think we're thinking about all of this, and we're really excited for the potential.
I love it. I mean, it's just going to make it that much easier to actually just get started with your work. So hopefully all of what you mentioned will come to fruition in our lifetimes. But very exciting times for sure.
I'll say, like, we had, I think, Jason on, Arvind, what was it, like 6 months ago now? And he talked a lot about like removing drudgery and all those buzzwords. I think my favorite part of everything we've described today, from create.microsoft.com to create inside of OneDrive, is just getting all the boring stuff out of the way. Like, I need to type up an email, or I need to type up a resume or budget proposal, or I need to get an image,
reports.
like, which that is an Office Space thing, right? Like,
it is an Office Space thing.
Okay. It's been a while, but all these things are about helping people get to the actual work that they need to do faster, the things that they can uniquely bring. We don't know what your document content should be. Like, we don't know what feature you're building, what your budget report is, but we can give you the tools to start it and get to the actual content and meat of it faster, which is just awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like just getting the stuff that's in your head out onto paper or out onto the screen like that much faster, which is pretty cool.
Liz or Libby, anything else we didn't cover for create.microsoft.com or Create in OneDrive that like we should talk about? Like, what are the questions we should ask you that we didn't ask you?
I guess one thing I'll add is that we are about to roll this experience out to our commercial audience, and we're really excited that when we roll out, we'll be actively monitoring feedback and looking at the data, because we're really committed to making this the best, personalized experience for you. And so share your feedback with us, and know that we'll be continuing to iterate and, keep delivering new experiences here. And we're also excited at some point in the future to bring this to consumer as well, because we know that there's very similar needs in the OneDrive consumer space to get started quickly.
That is awesome. And with that, I want to thank both Libby and Liz for joining us today. This was like an awesome rundown of our new Create experience. Both of you, Liz and Libby, how can people find out and learn more about you, either like via LinkedIn or Twitter? Are you on any of these places?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I think it's Elizabeth Scoble, but I think people can find me.
There'll be a link in the show notes, if nothing else. What about you, Libby? Where can people find you if they're interested in learning more about Create?
LinkedIn for me too. People can find me on LinkedIn.
All right. If you want to learn more about OneDrive and get the latest and greatest, you can check out our blog at aka.ms/OneDrive/blog. As Arvind kind of mentioned at the top, we've got the new OneDrive newsletter. You can sign up at aka.ms/OneDrive/join. I can be found on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/srice08. And Arvind is Arvind Mishra 1.
As always, we love hearing from you, our listeners. You can reach us on Twitter at OneDrive. And if you got a question, just tag it with #SyncUp, and Stephen or myself will answer you. You can also visit our page for links and resources and more at aka.ms/SyncUp.
Don't forget, you can send us questions directly by emailing syncupquestions@microsoft.com. Don't forget to subscribe to SyncUp wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoy SyncUp, if you find it useful, if you find us entertaining for reasons that escape me, tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best way to get people engaged and help us grow the show. If you are curious about other Microsoft podcasts, check out aka.ms/Microsoft/podcasts. And as always, a huge thanks to Lisa for making this podcast possible.
Thank you for listening to Sync Up. We've been your hosts, Stephen and Arvind, and we will catch up with you next month.